welcome to the fourth episode in the I Could Write a Bass Line series of lessons. In the third episode, we wrote a bass line to the very popular tune, Take the A Train. And what we're going to do in this lesson is add in some rhythmic variation to this line so that it sounds a bit more jazzy, sounds a bit more interesting, and we can have some more fun playing it. Not just for ourselves, but also for the members of the audience who may or may not be listening to it.
What do I have to do to make people listen to me?
So, like in every lesson, I have myself a pencil. I got myself a pencil sharpener in case I need to sharpen my pencil. And I've got an eraser in case I make any errors. And I know that I will. And as I say in every lesson in this series, this walking bass idea comes from the Evolving Bassist by Rufus Reid. Once again, I'm not being paid to endorse this book. I really like this book. So if you have one at home, we're working through, I believe it's page 83, etude number 11 on simple rhythmic lines. Yep, page 83, simple rhythmic lines through to the end of the etude, page 85. So you can practice those lines that he has in the book. If you're interested in that, through to page 87, that would be. And that's some extra work that you can use to help you with these ideas. So I've got my chart over here. I've got my old chart from the previous episode on the right. I'm going to shift that over here, and I've got a second blank piece of paper which I'm going to use to rewrite this walking bass line with some rhythmic variation. So let's go over the types of rhythms that we'll be using in this line to spice it up a little bit. The main ones I like to start with, let's say I use the note C. I'll put a C here. The first one would be like eighth notes. Simply playing 2 eighth notes. So we'll see how these ideas work when we get into the line itself, but 2 eighth notes is the first rhythm type we can add in. They don't need to be the same note, but I think it's a good idea to just start with playing the same note, and we can go from there. So that's the first rhythm type. The second rhythm that we can use would be playing something like an eighth note and then playing a dotted quarter note. So this is a 2-beat rhythm. There's more than one way that we can write that. We can write it as 2 eighth notes and tie the second one onto a quarter note. That's another way of writing the same rhythm. So that is the second rhythm that we'll be using. The third one will be eighth note followed by a quarter note, and then a second eighth note at the end. And the final rhythm type, which will be more than enough for now, will be some kind of triplet pattern. So if we write a triplet in here, this is what a triplet will look like with a 3 up the top. That's the triplet. Now keep in mind, for all of these types of rhythms that have eighth notes in them, since we're playing these for walking bass lines, we have to swing these eighth notes. So it'll sound like this, ba ba da ba da ba da ba dum, as opposed to ba 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 bum. We don't want to play these evenly, we want to swing them, which means the first eighth note is going to be just a little bit longer than the second. Okay, let's get into the line itself now. I'm going to write a title. Take the A train. And we'll get into putting in a bass clef. And we need 4/4 time. We're in the key of C, so we don't need to put in sharps or flats. And I'll put in 4 bars of music. So what am I going to do? I'll start simply with playing a C, an E, and how about I put the G here. I'll put 2 Gs as 8th notes, and then play an A. And then go to a C. I actually wrote a C there, didn't I? That should have been an A. Already I've had to pick up my razor. So let me put an A in, and then a C for measure 2. Ba ba bum ba ba bum. And then how about a different rhythm? I'll continue with A. Da be bum. How about I do this second rhythm? 8th note on G, and then I've got an E, 1.5 beats left, so I'll play that as a dotted quarter note. So that will sound like ba ba bum ba 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 bum. And I've got my bass off to my right here, so you won't have to listen to me sing the whole time. I think an important thing with rhythmic play in walking bass lines is to not overdo it. It's very tempting. You kind of feel like you need to put some rhythms in every bar, but sometimes it's nice just to leave out, or just to leave the line as is. I think I'll do that for this next bar, just as is. I won't add any rhythmic variation to that. I'll put in another doubled note here, 2 8th notes, and then C, and then what am I going to do? Ba, ba, ba. I'll just play A flat and F sharp. Just keep it real simple. Okay, let me play this bass line now. 1, 2, 3, 4. I quite like the sound of that. Let's keep it the way it is. Continuing on with bar 5. I'll play a D. Ba, 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 ba. I'm kind of looking back at what I've written, and I want to use more 8th notes, but I don't want to always put them on the same beats. So I've got my first set of 8th notes here on beat 3, and in bar 4 they're on beat 1. So I think maybe beat 2, we'll try that. Doubling up with the E over here. Bum, bum, ba, ba. And then F sharp. And then G. How about I use this one? I haven't used this one yet. So I'll play G natural. Be ba 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 bum ba ba bum. This could sound cool. When I'll do G, I'll do F. Again, I'll put a natural sign in. And then this will be an 8th note, and then a quarter note for the note D. So that leaves me with half a beat left in this bar. And I'm going to anticipate this C. So that C will normally come in on beat 1. I'm actually still going to put that in on beat 1. I'll put that in first. That's C here. And then I'll put another C on the end of beat 4 and tie it over. This is a different way that you can change up the rhythms. This is a nice sound. So I've just played this rhythm, ba-ba-bum, which is the third rhythm here, but tied the C over into beat 1 for the C chord. Ba bum ba 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 ba. Whoops. Bum bum ba 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 bum bum bum. And then we'll keep it fairly classic. B ba bum ba, C sharp. What about I put beep ba ba, 8th note, write it like this. Beep bum. So I'm playing rhythm number 2 here. Beep ba bum. And then I'll play G. And then B. To get me back to C again. Let me play that now from bar 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sounds cool. It's got some movement to it. Continuing on. We're now at the second A section. And so here, be da be bo bo da do do do. That was the line from last time. Let's just walk down the chord normally. No rhythms yet. Be da dee do. Bum ba da 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 dum. Okay, we'll put a doubled G. Bum ba da dum. I'll put another doubled note in here, 2 C's, and then C sharp. A lot of this stuff is sort of what you're hearing in your head as you're going through. That's why it's a good idea to sing what you're hearing in your head. I'm not a good singer, but it's very good for your bass playing. It's very good for your music in general. Beep bum. Let me see. Let me just pause for a second. Which rhythms have I used? I've used a lot of 8th notes, lots of doubled 8th notes. I've used this one on the second bar. That's number 2. That's number 2. Number 1, I've used that a couple of times. I've used this one a couple of times. Well, I've used it once. Okay. I haven't used the triplet yet. Let's see. I'll just drop down to an E. And then an F, F sharp, just play it as written for now. Maybe I'll put an 8th note on beat 4, put 2 8th notes on beat 4. I haven't done that one yet. So let me put in A flat, flat 5 on D7, and then C, and then 2 8th notes on E. Ba-ba-dee. Now this is D minor 7 where we're walking down the key of C. So what am I going to play here? I'll just play a D. D, C. Maybe I'll do another one of number 2. Beep, bum, bum. And then G. Bum, bum. Then I'll double up on beat 2. B. D. Now for this bar, this is a line that is overused, but it works so well on this chord and this line in particular that I just have to use it. Beep, bom, ba, ba, bum. You know what, I'll spice up a bit more. I'll play 2 Fs. Bum, ba, da, dum. F sharp, and then G. And now I've used a lot of rhythm in these couple of bars, so to round off this second A section, I'm just going to keep it completely straight. Just quarter notes. Okay, finishing off that A section, put a few more bars in here, and then, yeah, I'm finishing on an F, aren't I? Yeah, a high F. Start of the B section. Okay, I'll play this line now, starting from the top of the second A section. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm quite happy with all of that. I think I'll leave it the way it is. All right, we are cruising through this bass line. We're at the top of the B section. Now, last time we put in a descending F major 7 arpeggio. That's what we put in. So how am I going to play this? I haven't found a good place to add in a triplet yet. It's possible that I won't find one, but I'll just continue on. B, da, D. I'm going to put in this rhythm, but I'm going to play this note over the bar line. Now, the way that's going to work, so I've got F, E, C, bar, bum, so I'll play A. I have to use these 2 notes, the A and the F, but play them over the bar line. So I'll play my first 8th note, which will be the A here. Now, in order to make this note go over the bar line, I've got to write it as an 8th note because that's all I have left in this bar. So I'll write an 8th note there. I've got to put in the second 8th note on beat 1, tie them together so that it adds up to 1 quarter note. And then what's my next note? B, bum. I'm going to put in just another F to fill out beat 1. Let me put the stems in now. And then my second beat is G. B, da, dee, ba, bum, ba, ba. And then just simple A, B flat. Not going to overdo it with rhythms. I'm going to put in 2 8th notes in a row. Sorry, not 2 8th notes in a row, 2 beats of 8th notes in a row. So 2 Ds and then 2 Es. And then a G and then an F. So now we're on F. And this line is going to take us to D7 in the B section. F, F, E, E flat, D. That was the line from last time. I'll just play 2 Fs I'll double up on the E's and then play E flat. And then a D. All right, let's play that. 1, 2, 3, 4. That sounds okay. Let's keep going. I really want to get in this triplet somewhere. Just haven't found a place yet which I think will work. I think I will try to put it in this line, and if it doesn't work, then I can change it later. I'm going to keep this first bar as written. D, E, F sharp, G. And then I'll double up on the A's, because I think that'll sound okay. 2 A's, and then a B. Bum, ba, 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 bum. Yep, keep a C and a C sharp the same. So the real trick with rhythms is just not overdoing anything. You don't want to put in too many, because then it just becomes too much. You end up losing the feel. I'll put a D in for now. I'll then put an E as an 8th note. I'll go back to using this one again, number 3. And then an F as a quarter note. I have to count this now, make sure I have enough space. Ba, ba, ba. Yeah, I'll play the F again as an 8th note, so I can play F sharp on beat 4. Sometimes doing this, you really got to concentrate and make sure that you fill out the bars correctly. 1 beat, half a beat, so 1.5, 2.5 beats, 3 beats, 4 beats. Bum, ba, 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 bum. And then I've got a G, a high G. And that was the one that was way up on the 12th fret. I think this bar will be a good place to try to get in a triplet. So let me see. Da, B, ba, ba, da, bum. There are so many ways to play triplets. I think I'll play this one like this. I'll play the triplet here on D. And then I'll play a C. And then an A. So I'm squeezing all these notes into one beat, beat 2. And then I'll play a G here. B, 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 bom, ba. And then I get to C. Okay, I'm going to need to check that, see how it sounds. Start of the second line of the B section from this D7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sounds great to me. All right, last A section. Let's wrap this thing up in a neat little bow, and then we'll have a really cool bass line that we can take and practice to get some rhythms into our lines. So after all of this movement and cool bass line playing that we've done here, I'm just going to play simple quarter notes. Maybe even for 2 bars. Let me just do it for 2 bars or 2 measures. So put a C here. I'll keep these 2 measures as is, just rewriting it note for note. Dee da boom da dee da 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 dum. Dee da boom da beep ba ba. I think for this bar, I'm going to combine a couple of these rhythm types together, because I'm hearing something in my head that I really like the sound of. I'll use this rhythm type first, so 8th note on D, and then a quarter note for C. That gives me 1.5 beats. I'll play another C. Actually, maybe, no, I'll go right to an A flat as an anticipation. So this is the rhythm. I've already played the first 2 notes, but I'm going to anticipate into the A flat. So this A flat comes in on the 3rd beat, right? So I'm now on the and of beat 2 at the moment with this next note I'm putting in, this 3rd note of this rhythm type. So I'm going to play A flat, and I'm going to tie it over, I think. Beep bum bum. Yeah, I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to use rhythm number 2 now. I'll put A flat in again as an 8th note, and then F sharp as a dotted quarter note. The difference here though is I'm going to tie these 2 rhythm types together from the last note. So I'm playing this rhythm, and I'm going to tie this last note of the 3rd rhythm into the 1st note of the 2nd rhythm type. So this is number 3. I'll write this in here. This is number 3 here, and this is number 2. What I'm doing is I'm now going to join them together by tying those notes together. And I'll play that in a second to hear how that sounds. And now, probably just keep it simple. Oh, not simple for too long. Let's double up on this E. I actually did that back here. Maybe I shouldn't double up on the E. Maybe I'll double up on the E flat. E flat, and then D. Okay, so that looks really complicated, but let's hear how it sounds. It should sound pretty cool. So okay, I'm way up on the 10th fret. Let me play this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I played that correctly. Let me try that again. Be da bum ba be da 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 beep ba bum 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 bum. Okay, I'll play that one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sounds pretty complicated, but I think that's going to be a really nice little bit of extra movement, and it's going to sound quite cool with the jazz band when we listen to it. So last line, let's wrap this thing up. Bum, bum. Once again, I'll keep it simple. As written. Bum, 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 bum. Maybe I'll double up now on the 2 Gs. Bum, ba, ba. B. Bum, ba, B. Simple. Bum, ba, ba. B. D. And then D flat. And now I use rhythm number 2. Maybe I'll do another triplet actually. I'll play 2 Cs and then an A. When I'm writing these rhythms out, I'm also thinking in my head, how is this going to be played out on the bass? So it's not too difficult to play. So 2 Cs and an A actually looks like it's going to be okay to me. Ba 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 ba. And then G, and then E, E flat, and then I'll do D, A flat, and I'll do rhythm number 2 again, G as an 8th note, and then D as a dotted quarter note. Okay, let me play that last line now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sounds all right. Okay, I think that'll do it for the bass line. So that is basically how we can write walking bass rhythms, how we can add them into our bass lines to give us some more ideas. So let's hear how this sounds with the backing track now. Thanks so much for checking out the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to download this full bass line, you can head over to my Patreon page. It is there in standard notation and tab notations. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.